What's going on? It's your boy Sermon at Sermon's Domain on Twitter. Is there no limit to the Weeknd's potential? Every time we think that he might have hit his peak, another piece of the mountain just springs up and elevates the man even higher. That is the case with his fourth album titled Starboy. It's another example of why the Weeknd is going to be here for many moons. So let's get the bad out of the way. Starboy lacks the narrative that Beauty Behind the Madness had. I went into this album thinking, okay, these singles, maybe they kind of sync up to other pieces of the album and it all comes together. No, these are all separate tales. And there's nothing wrong with that at all. I'm not saying that this makes the music ineffective. Quite the contrary. I love the album. I just went into it expecting a story, and I get that it's not so easy to come up with the story every time. So Beauty Behind the Madness was a special moment for the Weeknd's career, and Starboy is just a great collection of songs is what I'll say about the album. The Weeknd has found a balance between old and new, and I've talked about this in the past. Like, he's toned down the old side. The House of Balloon side is a lot more toned down. He's not partying with naked dancing women who have 20 pills in their system. No, he's kind of replaced that. He still has the savage moments, but it's definitely not as radical as he used to be. This album goes through the motions. It's almost 100% guaranteed to bring up relationship memories because the Weeknd bounces between lust, heartbreak, and love, and so many other topics throughout this album that you're going to feel this music. At some point, one of these songs is going to hit and you're going to be reminded of a past relationship. And I think that's a good thing. A lot of people might not want to relive those memories, but I love music that is so strong that it makes you feel. I'm not reliving these memories in a bad way. I'm just really enjoying the music, feeling very invested into the music that's on Starboy. I love that the Weeknd doesn't stick to just one sound. He has great range with everything that he does. And so there's a lot of spectacular moments on this album. Die For You, for one, is a great record because it samples, or not samples, but the melody of the hook is very reminiscent to R. Kelly's Feeling on Your Booty from his TP2.com album, 12 Play 2. And I really love that R. Kelly song. So immediately I was like, yeah, this sounds familiar. Where is this from? And then when I looked it up, I was like, oh, that makes perfect sense. And it sounds great the way he flipped it, but it still gives you that nostalgic feeling to it. Then you have a record like False Alarm, which was huge. It was the Survivor Series theme song. So that in itself is big because WWE tends to not go with artists like The Weeknd. If you would have told WWE back when House of Balloons came out that they would one day have a record be for their pay-per-view by The Weeknd, they would have looked at you like, what? It's crazy. It has this epic 80s vibe to it. If there was a music video for it back in the 80s, it would have like this Tron, like, you know, like the video game. It would be like very Tron-esque. There would also be a lot of color. It would just be a fun video. I could see The Weeknd going in that direction now. Secrets was another favorite. I really love that bridge. And I also have to highlight A Lonely Night. It's kind of crazy that a negative situation can be flipped into such a beautiful melody and just make you enjoy it over and over again. Like, it's just a great record. Now let's talk a little bit about the guest features. There's only 4 guest features on here. Daft Punk, they do their thing. Future is on 2 records. He's uncredited on 6 Feet Under, but he appears on there. And both times, on 6 Feet Under and All I Know, he has some good, strong features there. I was impressed. I think the two have like a chemistry that I really wasn't expecting. Their other record, Low Life, was cool, but it doesn't give the vibe that you get from listening to these 2 records on Starboy. And then you have Kendrick Lamar. I was very disappointed in Kendrick Lamar's feature on Sidewalks. I thought Kendrick is someone who can do no wrong as far as a guest feature goes, but I think this year has proved that he's kind of been His focus has been elsewhere. He's been on these pop records. He's been on a few rap features, but the only one that really stands out was Mr. Fab's "Survive." It was on his album, and that was the only one where I felt like Kendrick really sounded like he really was invested into this record. And I think that goes back because that particular record, just a little bit of history, that particular record wasn't made this year. It was made a while back, and Mr. Fab has been sitting on it. So when I listen to Sidewalks, I'm thinking, okay, this could be good. It sounds all right. I'm not a big fan of The Weeknd going on his, like, oh, you made The Weeknd, so make another Weeknd. Like, I don't get the whole need for that subliminal. I get it. It's aimed at Drake more than likely because he's the only person that can sort of claim that he made The Weeknd, and you know he does have a valid point. He introduced him. He didn't make The Weeknd. He introduced him. So I don't know. I just didn't get that. And then Kendrick's verse was just kind of lazy to me. It didn't really have the quotables or anything memorable that sticks to the topic that I enjoyed. I think the record is one of the weaker ones on the album. And then you have the Stargirl interlude with Lana Del Rey. So my question is, what the hell was this? Is this Lana Del Rey's sound? Like, if I listen to one of her albums, is this what I'm going to hear? Because I was not impressed. I was not enjoying it one bit. It was kind of just weird. It sounded like... what am I looking for? It kind of sounded like she was drowsy, a little bit woozy, like... It just didn't feel like anything that should have been on the album. The only part of that sounded tolerable was The Weeknd's part at the end. While I think that Starboy lacked a strong narrative, the music is substantially better than Beauty Behind the Madness. There are a few cutting floor records such as Rockin' and some of the guest features that I just talked about. But overall, I was very impressed. I look at this album as something that The Weeknd can push for a while. I was thinking the same about Beauty Behind the Madness in terms of singles. And he did have he felt like he had a longer campaign rolled out for Beauty Behind the Madness. So I get why that didn't continue much longer. But I think with Starboy, he's just getting started. He only has a couple singles out, and Starboy is the main one. So I see them pushing more singles to radio, and they have a lot to choose from. So those are my thoughts on Starboy. Once you listen to the album, let me know what you think about it in the comment section below. And then like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're not already, share the video. Follow me on Twitter @SermonsDomain. And as always, thank you for your time. I appreciate you for watching. And until next time, peace.